Hi everybody, it's Jeff again. This week we're going to show you how to convert your electric range outlet from a 3-conductor outlet to a 4-conductor, a 4-wire outlet. Now this is what your standard 3-prong outlet looks like here. This is the older one. So anytime you buy a new appliance, it's always a good idea to update your connector there to the latest building code requirements. So pretty much as of 1996, any new installation, or new building rather, has to have it. You're grandfathered in if you've already got the 3-prong, but I always like to upgrade whenever possible. But it's not always possible to upgrade, so the way we tell is when we look here at this is our ground wire that's coming in out of the outlet. You have to have one of those coming into the box. If you don't have one, then you're going to have to run one, and we've had to do that many times, and sometimes it can be a pain. Depends on where you are in relationship to the electrical panel, but you'd have to run a ground wire all the way down here to this thing here. And this is what the new outlet looks like. So this is the outlets that are required now by the modern building codes, the electrical code. So that ground wire will actually connect into this one here. And so that's what we're going to do here today. Okay, so you can see first thing you have to do is turn off the power to the electric range, and that's usually going to be your 50 amp switch here. So you can see that's in the off position, and then I'm going to verify it with my voltage testing tool. Okay, so this is my little Fluke volt alert. I always use this to test circuits before I work on them. Just because you flip the switch over on the electrical panel doesn't mean you're safe, because I've seen stupid electricians do really stupid things over the years, so I don't trust anybody. I always use this. So you turn it on, so you see how the red light came on there, and then you want to touch it onto the wires here and make sure that none of them are electrified. I check all of them, even the ground wire, because you never know. So there's nothing in here, so we know we're safe now. And you can also wear gloves too, if you want, for some universal precaution. And I always like to use my insulated screwdrivers here. And I just wanted to show you what the 4-prong cable here looks like. So see, it's got the 4 prongs sticking out of it there. And it's going to plug in, of course, to the new cable like this. And just remember, the way you wire these is very simple. The black and the red have the voltage. So each one of them has 120 volts for a total voltage differential of 240 volts. So it doesn't matter which one goes where. The black can go here, the red can go here, or reverse. They call them X and Y on the outlet. And the white one has to go down here, and the new one, which is the ground, which is typically a green wire if it has insulation on it, will go on to this port right here. So that's really it. And so you don't need to worry about polarity on the two, the red and the black. They can go either way here. But just make sure that your white one goes here and your green one goes here. And we're also going to show you how to wire this end of it onto the terminal block inside the back of your stove there. And you got to remember that once you connect this up inside there, inside the back, there's a little bracket that we have to take off. It's a grounding strap, because inside the back of the appliance, all the appliance makers short the white wire to the green wire. That's how they get the ground. They're essentially using the chassis to short to connect to the ground for safety. But now with the new rules and the requirements for the National Electric Code, they want these two separated now. So inside the back we have to remove that bracket that shorts these two. And if you fail to do that, you could go through all of this work and it would be as though you didn't do anything at all. So this is all very similar to the way we did the dryer connector. And one other thing I wanted to point out to you is that once we get this installed, he's going to be laying sideways like this. Don't know if it'll be this way or this way yet. We'll have to see once the cord is connected, because the cord, when it comes out of the bottom of your electric range there, it's going to be kind of facing sideways. It's not going to be going up like this or down like that. It wants to rest sideways, so that's why we're going to have the connector port in there. The outlet will be plugged sideways. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is unscrew these wires here out of the old outlet, and of course it's got flathead screws, which I hate it. That's how the really cheapy ones, older ones do that. I like the newer ones that have the Phillips head. It's a little easier to work with. So anyway, all we do is we just loosen them. And the first wire pops out. So it's very simple, very quick, very easy operation. And it pops right off just like that. Okay, now I always start with the ground, so I've done the ground first on that one there. Now the white wire is going to go in here, and you simply stick it all the way in. And you can see how there's you can't see any bare copper here. You should only see just the insulation going right up to the edge of the hole. You don't want to see any bare copper. That would be bad, because somebody, if they were stupid enough to ever operate on this without shutting off the fuse panel, they could get shocked. So sometimes you have to protect idiots from themselves. And of course the clowns that wired this up originally didn't really give us a whole lot of slack coming out of the wall, but we're able to make this work. So now the red and the black can go on these other two. It doesn't matter which one goes where. So I'm going to stick the red one in there. Screw him down. Then the black one is going to go into the other one here. And when they don't give you enough slack, you really got to manipulate this thing around. It goes this way. Okay, so now we're doing the black one. The last one's always the hardest one. Had to really play with the tension on that last one. Okay, so now we back up and just take a look and make sure it's okay. We got the ground here on this one. The white is on the opposite one. The red and black are right over here. And so now we are ready to connect our wire up to the back of the range. Ready? Okay, so all the wiring terminal block is back behind this plate, and I've already done one screw. So we're going to unscrew the second one here. And this just goes out and slides down. And you can see our friendly 3 wires here, the red, the white, and the black. So you can see what they've done. If you look way down below here, they've shorted the white wire to the chassis with this metal bracket here. This is a grounding strap. And this is what we have to remove if we're switching to 4-wire. So now when we run the cable up through this hole here and through the strain relief that you see down here on the floor, this is our strain relief. The cable will come up through here, and the ground wire will now attach to the chassis. So we will no longer be shorting the chassis of the range to the white wire. Okay, it'll be its own independent wire now. Alright, so we're about to start. Now, one thing here that kind of stinks about this system, instead of using screws, they're giving us bolts here. And so with these here, you have to have a longer socket here, an extended length socket. Now this one's a 3/8 inch, so we're just going to stick it in there and going to loosen it. We take the nut off there on this one, and as we run the wires in through here, they'll clip onto here, and you'll just rerun the nuts there. Now this one here, they give you these spares here, and they want you to use these with the power cord as well. Let me see. Okay, so now the ground one, we're going to unscrew this green one to get that strap off of there. So you got to pull the white wire off here. And in this case, they got it on there pretty good, so I think we're just going to break it off. So there we go, the tab's broken off there. We'll put him back on. Now we're ready to run the cable. Alright, so what we're looking at now is I've run the cable up through the bottom of this. And the cable usually comes with these really gnarly, cheapy strain relief things, but you do have to install them. But this type is a real pain. And I can guarantee you, if you've never done this before, you're going to look at spending 15-20 minutes getting this thing to feed up and go through here. We're used to it, so we do it all the time. But my preferred method, instead of this, I normally use my little same ones that they use on the electrical boxes with the little metal nut on there, and it's got the clamps built on it, and it's just a lot easier because you feed it up through the bottom and you screw on the metal washer, and then you're done. This thing here, you really have to finagle with it, and I'll show you what it looks like underneath. See how you got the two screws there that hold that clamp together, and you got to make sure when you insert it that you put the proper piece facing the front towards you, because there's two pieces here, right? And they're not the same. The one on this side here is meant to accept the screw as it goes right in through there, and the other side of it is the one that's threaded. So that's all you really got to worry about there. So now we're ready to attach the wires. Okay, so now we're screwing in the ground one first, and he goes right to the chassis. Okay, and then now I'm going to put the white one onto the white wire one there. It's just a simple matter of matching up the colors at this point. Black one is going to go over here to this one, and the red one is going to go over to here. And we're going to take the nuts that they gave us. Remember, I pulled this off earlier. Okay, so now I'm going to put the nuts here on each one of these, and the nut on the white one, and the nut goes on the red one. And then we're just simply going to tighten it. And we'll tighten the white one. And the black one. Okay, so let's take a step back and make sure we've got everything right. We've brought the wire up from the bottom through here. There's a little bit of the black insulation showing through, which you want to see. And it's squeezing and it's held in nice and tight. Good strain relief there. Okay, so the black is going to the black, the white is going to the white, and the red is going to the red. So we are now done with the wiring. And this piece that we took off, that we broke off before, that goes in the trash. That's no longer needed. And now we simply put the back cover back on and screw it back in. Okay, so now we are done, and we're just screwing the back panel back on. And as we look and see here, we sort of have a choice. It looks like the ground prong is going to face towards the, this is the, depending on how you look at it, the right side of the stove here. So we just want to make sure when we connect up the connector to the wall outlet on the front there, that we have it set to the correct orientation that matches the way that this cable naturally wants to lay. Okay, one other safety feature of your electric range that most people don't pay attention to, or they don't abide by it, is this safety bracket that they give you. Every oven comes with one, and you should mount it up against your back wall here, and the instructions tell you pretty much, you know, where to put it. Okay, and so what this does is the right rear leg of the oven is supposed to slide underneath this bracket, and this is an anti-tipping feature. This keeps a little kid from swinging open the front door and jumping on it, and then the stove tips over on them and kills them. So it's a very, very important piece of safety equipment that you need, and you always want to make sure to install it, and it is required by law. I prefer bolting it to the ground here with a good flathead tapcon, a couple of tapcons, so you can drill right through the tile here. That way it's not going to go anywhere, because here we're up against the cement block wall, and I don't really like the placement of these holes here. Sometimes we drill our own hole there as well, to make sure that we're going all the way straight back into the concrete with a tapcon. And if this was a wall, maybe you get lucky, maybe there's wood there, maybe there's a stud there, maybe not, but those are the design considerations you need to worry about there with that. Okay, so before we put this and attach this back onto the box there, I wanted to point out something to you here that was done very wrong by the original builder. And this is a good teachable moment for you, so in a way I'm kind of glad they did this, but this is highly incorrect. So if you can imagine, they had this on here. This is the old connector, and it was right there on the box, just screwed to, you can see where you have these two screw holes were lined up to these two screw holes there to attach it. And the problem with that is it leaves gaps above and below the thing, and that to me is a big no-no. You're just asking for trouble there when you do something like that. The proper way to terminate this, and this is how these systems are designed, and I don't know why they didn't do it this way, you're supposed to use this type of a plate here with a big round hole in the middle, big enough to fit right around this guy here, see, like that, so that everything's sealed up. There's no way to get in there. And these 4 screws here, you'll see the whole system's designed so that it lines up to the 4 screws there. There's 2 here and 2 on the other side. So when it's done, it should look perfect, like that. And so you attach the outlet onto the plate with those 4 screws, and then once that's done, the entire apparatus gets pushed back onto the 4-inch box back there and screwed in by these 4 screws on the corners. And I could tell immediately that the builder never did this originally, because I had to widen up this hole here, this drywall opening, in order to even get it wide enough to make this thing fit back in there. So this was done incorrectly from the get-go, and let me just tell you, don't be that person. Somebody was too lazy to slit open a little bit wider opening in the drywall there with a utility knife, spend the extra couple of minutes so you could fit this thing in here and do it the right way. Not even sure how this got past inspection, but anyway, let me just remind you, don't be that person. So let me show you how we're going to do this. So what you see we had to do here is we had to dig out a little more in the drywall, and I suspect there's going to have to be more taken out. But what they did on here is they got this frame here, this bezel frame, that's an inappropriate frame, and we're going to have to remove it, because really all you need is this front plate that we got here will screw onto the corner of the box. Now this doesn't appear to be a box that has 4 screws on it, so 2 is going to be fine, but we'll have to undo this screw up here, and there's another screw down there on the lower right, and once we unscrew those, this old inappropriate bezel plate will come off, and we'll just screw the new plate on there, and then we'll be good to go. We'll have to caulk up probably around the edge and do a little bit of repainting. But this is what you're going to run into quite a bit, because somebody's negligence 25 years ago will turn into hours of extra work for you later on when you have to try to bring things up to code or fix past mistakes. So here it is. We took it off. This is the wrong bezel to use, and here's why. Because all they did was, let me try to fit it on here for you. This is how they had it lined up. So you see how you have the holes there? Anybody could stick their fingers back there. A kid could stick a hanger back there and get shocked. So that's why that's stupid, stupid, stupid. Very, very stupid idea. So we're going to correct that now, and you'll see how it's going to look in the end. We want to vacuum very, very thoroughly here and stick the nozzle way back in there and get all of that dust and dirt out of there before we do anything else. Okay, so before we continue, I wanted to address a subject here that people always ask. Well, here's my Leviton 279 4-wire outlet here. If I connect this and screw this onto my metal outlet box, will that ground my outlet box? Will that allow me to be bonded now to the system ground of the house? And the question is yes, it is. Now, I always try to wrap the ground wire around a green screw and screw that into the box whenever possible. In this case, because the builder cemented our outlet box directly to the cement block wall and then put cement in there, they also kind of ruined the screw boss that we had in there for the ground screw. So it's unusable. So we're going to rely on this to do our system ground. And let me show you this. See, this right here is where your green wire is going to plug into for the safety ground, right? Now, do you see this little L-shaped piece of metal right here? This little brass strip? That taps onto the green wire that you're going to insert here, or your regular bare copper ground wire. But this taps into it, and it connects it right to the front face of this plate. So all I have to do now is screw this plate onto the front of the outlet box by way of that bezel that we're going to add on later on, and that will complete the circuit for our safety ground. Now, of course, don't just take my word for it. We're going to use the old handy Fluke meter here, and you can see I've got it set to ohms. We're going to measure ohms here, and you can see I've already got one lead stuck into where the ground pin is going to go here. That's where your green wire is going to be on the other side of that. And you can see all I got to do is touch it to the metal here, and you can see I've got my perfect short there. So that's how you know that you're shorted to ground on this metal piece here. So all you have to do is screw this thing into your metal box and you will be bonded. And so here's the finished product. You can see we finally got the plate with the outlet port on there screwed in, and you can see, as we talked about before, the ground port is on the left there because that's how the cable is going to be oriented. So that looks a lot better than the way they had it before. Unfortunately, now we're left with this mess that we have to caulk all of those cracks and openings and everything, but at least when we're done it will be safe and secure. And had they done it properly the first time, we wouldn't be in this position right now. Alright, so there it is, plugged in sideways, just like we said it would rest. And the moment of truth, we have power. Yep, there's nothing like a gorgeous new electric range to go along with your gorgeous new kitchen that you remodeled. So anyway, hope you learned a lot from this, and if you like this video, please leave positive comments below and subscribe to our channel, because we're always adding many, many more videos to help you get out of some of these engineering issues you're going to come across as you remodel your home. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great day. Bye.